Hey folks, Randy Go, Trout Magnet Man with you here today. Today we're going to be discussing JDM fishing lines, the lines I use, why I use them, and whether you might want to use them or not. We'll talk about all that. Also today we're going to be giving away a Trout Magnet TNT kit, and we're going to be giving away a Trout Magnet Neon kit, and give information on that later on in the video. JDM lines. Number one, they're more expensive than U.S. domestic market lines, and the question is going to be, are they worth the money? Well, that's up to you, whether they're worth the money or not. I will explain to you why I use them, why I use the particular one I use, what it costs. There will be links to all these lines in the description should you want to delve into this. What you find with JDM fishing lines, the ones that are really made in Japan, it's like everything else. It just takes a step up in the quality of the gear, in this case being the line. And these are better lines, there's no doubt about it. Now you say nylon is nylon. Well, that's true. But here's the thing. They use extrusion methods that will give you less twisting. They'll put different coatings on the line. Some of them have fluoride, some of them have silicone. They really step it up a notch on what they do with their lines. The first line I use that a lot of you have seen me fish with is the 2.3 pound various ester polyester line. Now this is polyester line. It has zero stretch. It's like a braid in that aspect. It's not a braided line. It's a monofilament line, but it's made out of polyester, but it sinks. It has a specific gravity of 1.3. This line is my favorite go-to line. The sensitivity is off the charts. It sinks. I can work a trout magnet on a 1/64 and 1/32. I can get it down on the bottom, and using a low ratio reel and slow retrieve, I can keep that jig on the bottom. That's very hard to do with a 2-pound test nylon line because it's got neutral buoyancy, and that jig head, as you reeling, it's going to steadily work up and takes much longer to fall because the line is neutral in buoyancy. Like I said, this is my go-to line. I love the stuff. The drawbacks: there is no stretch. You must use a shock leader, and I use a shock leader, and you must use the proper length of shock leader. Using a 2-foot sectional leader, which I've tried, yes, it helps, but when you put on a 4-foot or 5-foot, it helps a lot more when you start getting into 15, 16, 17-inch Kentucky spotted bass. Without the shock leader, and you hook into a 17-inch Kentucky spotted bass, you would have to have your drag, which I keep my drag set loose anyway, but you would have to have your drag set so loose, I don't know. You're just asking for trouble if you fish this stuff without a shock leader. Some folks do, and they get away with it, and that's fine. I'm happy for them. I can't do it. I've tried it. It works better for me with a shock leader. Now, if I know specifically I'm only going to be in a bluegill bed, I'll set my drag accordingly, and I might forego the leader because I'm catching fish so fast and furious. I don't want to retie as often, and so on and so forth. But 90-something% of the time, you're going to see me fishing the polyester lines with a shock leader. This is a colored line. The only colored line I can find is in the highest rating is 2.3 pound test. I haven't found any 3-pound test in the colored lines. You can get a clear line. Well, actually, you can get one that's called the night blue in a 3-pound test, but I can't see it. I've tried it and I can't see it, so I have to fish with lines I can see. That is why all of my lines now are high vis. Every one of them is high vis lines. I just no longer can see the lines, the clear lines. But if you're looking for ultimate sensitivity, if you're looking for a line that sinks, if you're looking at a line with a low diameter, which this has a diameter of 0.104 millimeters, you can cast a trout magnet with this thing a long way because this line is slick. And I've told you before, this line has manageability issues. It likes to spring off the spool. It's a very stiff line. That's one of the reasons it's so sensitive. But you can manage that. I've learned to manage it. When I first tried this stuff, I wanted to just throw it away. But I kept at it, and now I love the stuff. The next line I use is a nylon line. It's a 3-pound test. It's the Troutist Area Meister Nylon Monofilament in 3-pound test. And the diameter of this line, what makes it so special, is 0.128 millimeter for a 3-pound test line. And believe me, this does break at 3 pounds. I've tested it out. I've got this to fish for smallmouth. I will use it in other places. Let's say, for instance, I go to Dale Hollow, I'm fishing for bluegill. I don't want to be taking my polyester line up there, because you're going to hook into smallmouth. I guarantee you in the spring, you're going to hook more smallmouth than you can imagine. And that polyester line and smallmouth, that they're not going to get along. But with this 3-pound test nylon that has good stretch, it's great for that, and that's why I have it. I have it on my Shimano Twin Power reel. This line, there's no leader required. There's multi-colors in this line. Let's see how many colors it says it has. It's orange with streaks of black. Actually, it's a translucent smoke gray, and you can barely see it, and that's what you prefer to tie your jig head to, but you can't see that translucent smoke gray. It's pretty stealthy stuff. Just a great line. I fished it. It can get into big smallmouth, no trouble, and I love it. What are the drawbacks to this line? Well, it's nylon, which is going to give you stretch. It's not as sensitive as a super line. And the cost of this line, because it has a special extrusion process, because you're fishing 3-pound test line with 0.128 millimeter diameter. Usually at 0.128 millimeter diameter, that's 2-pound test line, but they figured out a way to get this nylon at 0.128 that rates at 3-pound test. It's a great line. I love the stuff. The other line that I've been fishing for a while is the bite marker system fluorocarbon. Now, if you'll notice, if you can see this is a colored fluorocarbon. You can buy a good fluorocarbon line here in the States, but it's clear. I can't see the stuff. This is the 3-pound test. It has sections of clear in the line that you can tie your jig to when you're fishing, if you're concerned about fish being line shy. Unless I'm fishing for trout, I'm not really worried about fish being line shy. There's a lot of debate about that, but to me, I don't seem to have any issues with it. But you don't need a leader with this. I got this for the stretch, the sensitivity, and it sinks. It has the specific gravity of 1.6, I believe it is, and it sinks quick and stays there. Now, this is 3-pound test. I don't recommend, if you're an ultralight angler, I don't recommend you get the 3-pound test, because it's just a bit heavy for casting, say, a 1/64 or 1/32 ounce jig head. The diameter of this line is, I think it's 0.148, 0.15, something like that. They sell this in a 2-pound, and I should have got some 2-pound, but I have this in the 3-pound, so I'm going to keep it because it is expensive stuff. And I use this to fish the blade baits when I want to go deeper. It works out real good. I have it on a low ratio Luvius 2015 1003 model, and this is a really good setup. Now, this year at Center Hill Lake, they're going to raise the lake back up to summer pool status for the first time in over a decade. What's going to happen, that water's going to come 20 feet straight up. The bluegill and the shellcracker beds are going to be in the trees that have grown up since they lowered that lake over a decade ago. I mean, you're not going to be able to be twitching a jig in those trees. You're going to have to float fish. So what I've done is I have ordered some of the Troutist Area Meister nylon monofilament that has the low diameter. I've ordered it in a 4-pound test to put on the new Luvius reel. I'm going to do something to step out of my comfort zone that I haven't done in years and years. I'm going to be fishing the trout magnet under a float in those bushes for the bluegill and shellcracker. You're not going to be able to twitch in there. You're just not going to be able to cast a jig in there and retrieve. You're going to stay hung up. You're going to have to get into the woods, the trees, and you're going to have to float fish. And this reel, with the spool on this reel, I've ordered some, the 4-pound test Area Meister line nylon that has a diameter of 0.148, and that's going to work out real good. I'm going to be able to cast it well on this reel. I'm going to make this up with one of my aging rods, And hopefully, this is the plan anyway, hopefully with this line that I'm going to put on here, I'll be able to yank those fish out of those buck bushes and those trees before they can get me wrapped around something. That's my theory anyway. We will see, because Center Hill can produce some really, really big shell cracker. They can produce really big bluegill, and I'm not too worried about getting them out of there. But the shell cracker, we'll see. But 4-pound test, that's pretty strong line, folks. Believe it or not, that's strong line. Then I am going to try. I have fished off and on over the years. I have fished 2- and 1-pound test nanofill, which is a braided line. I ordered this on the recommendation of several people off of crappie.com that use this line. This is Unitica Night Game PE2. This is a braided fishing line that breaks at 3 pounds. It actually breaks at 3 pounds. It's not just rated there. That's where it breaks at. This stuff is tiny. I can't give you a diameter on it because I don't know the diameter. But it is tiny, 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 tiny line, which tells me the 1- and 2-pound test nanofill line I was fishing, even though it was rated at 1 pound and 2 pound, there's no telling what it broke at. It had to break at 3, 4, 5, 6 pounds. I don't know, more than that. But this stuff here, you can barely see it, and it's colored. It's a fluorescent green, as you can see there. And you'll be able to see it. There's no doubt about that, but it's awful thin stuff. It's awful thin stuff. But I'm going to use that on days when there's not a lot of wind blowing, and when I'm fishing shallow. This will be very good. Also, most braid is on the other side of neutral buoyancy. Neutral buoyancy is 1 and a specific gravity. Most braid is at 0.98. This braid actually sinks a little bit. It comes in of a buoyancy or specific gravity of 1.13. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to try this line. Now, how long it may stay on my reel, I don't know. It's $18. I got it off eBay. It's free shipping. Took a while to get here, though. Took quite a while to get here, even though it come out of Japan. The drawbacks to braid is any of you fish braid, you know you're going to get wind knots. There is no stretch. I will be using a shock leader on here. But the sensitivity is great. Now on braid, while the sensitivity is great, to get that sensitivity, you don't get that sensitivity on slack line. Fishing polyester line, you can have slack line, meaning your line is not taut. You're not really, the line is just laying on the water. When the fish taps it, it's going to run up that line because it's like a wiry type situation. You're going to feel it in the rod. On braid, when that happens, when you got slack line, you don't get the feedback because it's a soft line. But when it's stretched taut, you get that feedback. But when it's just slack line on the water, you don't get a lot of feedback off braid. But anyway, going to fish those lines, see how they do. Now, we're giving away the Trout Magnet TNT kit here. And we're going to give away the Trout Magnet Neon kit. And what I will do is I will draw for the names. And you're going to have to check back to see if you won these kits. And then if you won the kit, I'll use the random comment picker. You must leave a comment. If you win the kit, you will send me your address and I will get it out in the mail to you as soon as I can. I'm trying to get all these giveaways done before fishing really starts off big here. We've had some cold weather, which y'all know I'm not a fan of cold weather. But anyway, that's the little tale on JDM fishing lines and why I use them. You're going to have to decide if they benefit you. Some of them are costly. The Fluorocarbon and the Area Meister nylon monofilament, it's an expensive line. The polyester lines, if you decided you wanted to use that line, I think you can get it for like $7 a spool out of Japan. Of course, you want to order 3 or 4 or 5 spools for the shipping for it to be worthwhile. But the polyester line, relatively speaking, is cheap. It is. And the braid, this Night Game Unitica braid, it's $18. You're going to pay that for a spool of nanofill somewhere. Last time I checked, anyway. But those are the lines I use. I hope that can help some of y'all. I hope we can give you some information to see what you think about it. And I will only mail these kits to the contiguous United States, the lower 48. I will not mail internationally. I will not mail to Hawaii and Alaska. You must be 18 to qualify for this giveaway. And just leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll pull the comment up on on Tuesday morning, and see who won it, and do a pin comment on the video to let you know who won it. So until next time, folks, sol lip a mile, and life is good.